Closed captioning is being provided by GigiCast, Global Broadcast Solutions. Yeti's Ultimate Hunt is being brought to you by Exmark, Mow Like a Pro, Black Gold, Can Cooker, Mossy Oak, Luminoc, and by Yeti Coolers, wildly stronger, keep ice longer.
I have friends that have cancer, have battled cancer, have died from cancer.
I watched my sister die of liver cancer.
My grandmother passed away from breast cancer.
I know you know someone that's had cancer.
I've been to the hospitals and I've seen the devastation of families.
You know, it doesn't matter who you are. Cancer affects everyone.
Help fight this. We have to beat cancer.
That's what this show is all about. Join us, help us kill this rotten disease.
The Ultimate Hunt is proudly brought to you by Yeti Coolers, wildly stronger, keep ice longer.
I'm Rob Evans.
I'm Holly Eister.
And I'm Haley Heath.
And this is Yeti's Ultimate Hunt. And today we're going to take a look at the life of Brad Lockwood. He's the host of Love of the Hunt TV. He's a butcher, not a baker, and not a candlestick maker, but a lot of other things.
Brad's a great Pennsylvania outdoorsman.
Hey Holly, aren't you from Pennsylvania?
Yes, I am. And Brad got his start back in Pennsylvania as a butcher.
Well, and then he started doing the game processing DVDs.
Yes, which led Brad to Outdoor Edge Knives and start with the research, marketing, and development.
Let's head to Pennsylvania now and join up with Brad.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Lockwoods. Come on into our home. I grew up in a small town of Brookville, Pennsylvania. I mean, we're a small community, about 4,000 or 5,000 people, just kind of a Christian-based area, and a good group of people. It's a great place to grow up and raise your kids in. You know, our crime level's really low, and just a great place to grow up and be. We bought this old farmhouse, and we've been slowly but surely, very slowly working on it. I keep a pretty busy schedule. My wife and we're just people, you know. We live a pretty simple life. We have a 50-acre farmhouse that we bought several years ago, and I mean, the place was literally ready to fall to the ground, and our kids were screaming, tear it down, but we decided we were gonna take old parts of the farm from barns and remodel this house. And actually the floors in our house came from timber off of my father-in-law's farm, and we took some hard maple trees and had them sawed by the Amish and tongue and grooved and laid in for the floors, and even the window trim around the sills was barn wood and wood that's come off of my father-in-law's place or my dad's place. So we're pretty sentimental people. We've got horses, and my wife is a horse lover. I grew up with horses. Our whole family are a bunch of horse nut lovers. Of course, as you can see, we're a hunting family, and rather than pictures, as most women would want to have on their wall, my wife has a whole bunch of heads on her wall. And this one right here is a buck shot in Kansas here 2 years ago now. Shot this deer, and kind of a really cool buck. He actually scores out like 148 inches, but just really doesn't look at it because I call him the race car buck, because all of his points are really leaning forward. Like this G3 right here is about 11 inches, and if you were to stand it up straight the way that a normal buck should be, he wouldn't even fit on the wall right there. So yeah, how about that for a big buck in Kansas, baby? He is smoked. Smoke City. I said I was coming out here to stick a stud, baby, and that is the stud. Buck. Oh my God, look at the size of that buck. Oh, dude, you know, oh baby. Look at that buck. That is a big, heavy, thick, mature Kansas buck. One of the most sentimental deer we have here in the house is actually my wife's buck right here. This was her first muley with a bow, and got a lot of cool character to him, and super deer.
There's a lot bigger buck that was running with him, but this guy had a lot more character, and he also is the one that came closer first.
This buck came up 30 yards away, and of course, well, not of course, but
Yeah, no, of course. But
wifey shot and missed the first shot, shot right underneath it, and then the buck ran out about 40 yards, and it's just so
but
funny.
he started feeding again. I mean, it was.
He had no idea what
Game
happened.
Was not over yet.
And we started feeding again, and we were looking at this deer, and she draws her bow back, and I'm going, no, 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 don't shoot, don't shoot. She's like, I can get him, I can get him. She draws back and just pinwheels him at 40 yards, and the buck went about 50 yards and dropped over the edge of this dike, and we had a pretty happy girl on our hands. So.
I got him. He's fine. I can see him.
After Sherry missed this buck at 30 yards, I was pretty nervous about her taking another shot at 40. But as a typical lady can be, she didn't want to listen to her husband. She hauls back the bow. I'm hollering at her, wait, 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 let me get on him with the camera. And she takes the shot. Now, I was filming out the small window in the back of the blind, and after she hit the buck and he bolted, I couldn't tell exactly where he went. So Sherry was keeping an eye on him. Then I finally got positioned, got the camera back out the window, and I could see this buck going down.
You can support the fight to cure cancer along with these supporting companies: Game Hide, Nikon, ScentLock, Wild Ear Hearing Boosters, Outdoor Edge, Duluth Pack, Rage, Traveling Tower, Steadyform, Luminoc, Black Gold, Can Cooker, Mossy Oak, Exmark, Mow Like a Pro, Supercharged Scent Killer by Wildlife Research Center, Beyond 99%, and by Yeti Coolers, wildly stronger, keep ice longer.
Welcome back to Yeti's Ultimate Hunt.
And now more with Brad Lockwood. Whether it's big nasty critters or the wily whitetail, put a hole through them they can't refuse. And a blood trail on the ground your grandma can follow. The way to do that is put a rage in the cage.
Welcome back to Yeti's Ultimate Hunt.
And now more with Brad Lockwood.
All right, man, it's finally coming together. We see this big old nasty, gnarly, wide buck, and he's heading right down the fence row beside this alfalfa field. We get set up right in the tall grass, and there's a gate, an opening in the fence, and you're thinking to yourself, this buck is gonna come over there and walk right through that opening of the gate. I'm set up 20 yards. I got a 20-yard shot. I see the buck coming. And wouldn't you know it, this buck decides to jump the fence right between Mark and I. Here. Look at that toad. Look at that toad. Get over here, Dad, so you get this. Look at that swab. Look at that. Now that is what Wild Country Outfitters is all about. Oh, yeah, I knew I hit him far back. I got a little bit of bile juice coming out. Look at that hog. When we started Love of the Hunt, this was a television show that was basically all about what hunting really means to me. Hunting for me was never about the length of the beard or the size of the rack. It's always been about the love of the hunt. It doesn't matter to me if you shoot the biggest buck in the world or you shoot a small 6-point. If that's the deer that you're happy to put your tag on and that's the animal that you want to harvest, I mean, I've shot several jakes for gobbling one too many times. And what I always tell people is if your blood pressure goes up and you love being out there and doing what you do, then you shoot that animal. You enjoy yourself. Hunting was never meant to be about shooting these great big giant Pope and young animals. And if that's what you do, that's fantastic. You know, a lot of us evolve as hunters and we just don't get the thrill from shooting smaller bucks anymore. And we've set the bar higher and we want to harvest the bigger animals. And this right here is where all the work takes place. This is actually my office here, which is just a bedroom in our house that we don't have anybody in right now. All the kids are kind of growing up and moving away. I grew up in a community where hunting was all about providing food for your family. I grew up with a grandfather that would let the mature doe walk by so he could shoot the young one because it was that much better when it hit the dinner table. And then on this computer system right here, this big one, this is where we do all the finished production work of Love of the Hunt TV. And this little laptop right here, this MacBook Pro, it's such a simple concept, but basically all of the new cameras are all solid state cameras, or else they record to SD cards. So when we're in the field, we download all of that video footage just onto a MacBook Pro laptop, just like this. We put all that video footage there. We store it all on these little mini hard drives. Then when we're in the field, we can review everything, check it all out. If we missed a clip, if we have something that we need to reshoot, a piece of audio that's missing, we know that right there in the field. We can go back through, recapture it again, and get everything ready. And then all of that raw footage goes to JoLyn's office, who is the real person behind Love of the Hunt TV, and we're gonna head out there right now and visit with JoLyn. Well, we just walked into the office here of JoLyn, and JoLyn is the girl that does her very, very best to make me look good on TV, and it's an easy job. It is an easy job. All right, so we're working on a mule deer show to finish up the rest of the season, and a lot of you may recognize JoLyn here. Her and her husband are two of our premier pro staff on Love of the Hunt TV, and they are without a doubt a hunting family, father, son, and all the kids combined together.
So I think I made a good shot. He ran off up in there and went into the woods. So far, I'm providing meat for the family.
Yeti's Ultimate Hunt proudly supports cancer research and the Pink Arrow Project. To find out how you can help, visit ultimatehunt.tv. There you'll find more information and ways you can donate and support these great organizations. Donations to the Pink Arrow Project have been contributed by Outdoor Edge, the finest quality knives and tools for the big game hunter.
The way I became involved with Outdoor Edge was through the creation of my instructional game processing DVDs. I wanted to find tools and knives that hunters could readily go out and purchase. The knives and tools that we use in the commercial meat packing industry are very similar to the products that you can purchase from Outdoor Edge. So when we started making all of our game processing DVDs, we connected with David Block from Outdoor Edge Knives, and the relationship has escalated now to the point where, since I spend so much time in the television industry, who better to monitor all the television shows, the marketing and media that's out there than myself. Like a lot of hunters, you know, my dad introduced me to hunting, and through the television show, and I'm really able to give back to him, and I enjoy it so much. You know, it's taking him out this last year. We went up to Alberta, Canada, and we're up with Chad Lentz up there, and we were moose hunting, and we're doing a little non-traditional style, still with a lot of calling, but we were actually hunting moose out of a tree stand. This bull that they called in came right to the base of the tree stand. I mean, never seen anything like it. So he had us take a picture of him with this bull, and I swear he showed that picture to everybody that he's known for the last 65 years. It was a pretty awesome moment to see that happiness in his eyes. You know, just like taking my kids hunting. You know, when my kids have hunted and harvested animals, you know, as a father, it brings you so much joy. And now, as his son, watching him harvest these animals is just, it's a return you can't even put into words, just to see his happiness and, you know, just return to him what he's given so bountiful to me. A lot of families, you know, connect on a lot of different sports. You know, a lot of people maybe have baseball-driven families, football-driven families, but our family was kind of all about hunting. My family is no stranger to cancer. You know, cancer has tore a pretty big hole in our family, both on my mom's side and on my dad's side. You know, many years ago, my Aunt Hazel actually came down with a brainstem cancer, and it was probably one of the most horrible things that I had ever seen in my whole life, you know. And my Aunt Hazel and my Uncle Jerry, I'd pretty much, you know, grown up at their house, and my Uncle Jerry teaching me how to tie flies. And then when this affected my aunt, I mean, I really didn't even know what was going on, but we would go to the house and, you know, first the hair loss, and I mean, it just took this beautiful, beautiful woman and just tore her to pieces. I mean, it just ripped her apart, you know, until she couldn't hang on anymore, you know, and she didn't make it, you know. And then on my mom's side too, it got my grandfather, and you know, he had some advanced prostate cancer that went untreated, and he refused treatment. And 10 years later, my mom went into the doctor, and the doctor said, "Hey, you know, Carol, your father's only got, you know, a few weeks to go." And my mom just couldn't understand what happened. And the doctor just told my mom, said, "Carol, you know, your dad refused treatment 10 years ago when he knew he had it. And he's had 10 good years, and this is what it's come to now." And I can remember going in the room, you know, when he was at home under hospice care and on his bed, you know, and reaching down to hug him goodbye. And he reached up and he put his arms around me, and I knew he knew who I was, but, you know, he couldn't talk and couldn't say anything, you know, he just had to say goodbye and leave. So it was really, really rough time. And now it's got a hold of my dad, you know, and my dad just recently he's gone through a bout of prostate cancer, and they removed a prostate, and he's healing well, and we just got our fingers crossed right now, and our prayers are going up every day. And as I sit here in front of the camera and speak right now, we're waiting on the lymph node biopsies to come back, and just praying every day that he gets a clean bill of health, and it was just located in the prostate. But yeah, we definitely got to join together, and we need to find a cure. Hi, I'm Brad Lockwood, and if you haven't been affected by cancer, you probably will be. So we need to come together as sportsmen and sportswomen and find a cure for this horrible disease.
And my grandmother died from cancer. My granddaddy died from cancer. My other grandmother is battling cancer right now. I have friends that have cancer, have battled cancer, have died from cancer. It has really affected my life in a big way. So I want to make sure that I was involved. And that's what made me join with the Ultimate Hunt. It's a huge thing for me to give back and donate to cancer research. So the question is, what can you do? You can donate. Make sure you go and donate. Give back, because cancer is a killer and it's horrible. It's affecting everybody's life. I know you know somebody that's had cancer. Give back.
Yeti's Ultimate Hunt proudly supports cancer research at the Minnesota Medical Foundation Saltzman Labs. To find out how you can help, visit ultimatehunt.tv and click the donate button to give your financial support today.
When I'm out in the woods during rifle season, I like to know that I have the advantage, and I do with my Slay custom rifle. It's deadly accurate. The name says it all, Slay.
You can support the fight to cure cancer along with these supporting companies: Game Hide, Nikon, ScentLock, Wild Ear Hearing Boosters, Outdoor Edge, Duluth Pack, Rage, Traveling Tower, Steadyform, Luminoc, Black Gold, Can Cooker, Mossy Oak, Exmark, Mow Like a Pro, Supercharged Scent Killer by Wildlife Research Center, Beyond 99%, and by Yeti Coolers, wildly stronger, keep ice longer.
Welcome back to Yeti's Ultimate Hunt.
Now more with Brad Lockwood.
Brookville is very well known for its historical society. You know, many of the buildings in our town were built clear back in the 1800s, from our courthouse, which we just had redone and remodeled, to many of the businesses that you'll see up and down Main Street, the authentic old style light posts, all the flags that we have around, you know, just showing the true heritage of the town. And the fishing, hunting here, I mean, in the fall you can come here, chase whitetail deer. The North Fork watershed is very, very well known for the great fly fishing. In the spring, we have plenty of turkeys, and we probably have the only barbershop in town that has tree stands for wading stools. The barbershop we have is probably 100 years old, and Flap, that runs the barbershop, is actually an engineer by trade, but now he's a barber, and he's taken over the local barbershop, and it's probably the only barbershop that you're ever going to be in that has tree stands for wading stools. My job title for Outdoor Edge has really not been defined yet because I cover so many different tasks. Everything from international sales, which includes traveling over to the IWA show in Germany every year, to handling SHOT Show in Las Vegas and taking care of some major accounts out there, to marketing, media, the production of Outdoor Edge's Love of the Hunt TV, sales, product development, and so many other issues. Anything basically that needs to be covered at Outdoor Edge, David and I can handle it. I'm Brad Lockwood, and cancer has deeply and greatly affected my family, starting with my grandfather, then two of my favorite aunts, and now on to my own father. If you or your family, your loved ones have not yet been affected by cancer, I can promise you, you will be. We all need to join together as outdoorsmen, sportsmen, sportswomen, as an entire nation. We need to join together and give whatever you can to help support this important cause and help us find a cure for cancer.